So it's the first day of refeed finished. Technically, I started my refeed about last night around this time-ish, around 9 p.m. That was officially the cutoff point of my 14-hour fast. Normally I'd be wearing a ring, but I've lost like 20 pounds, so all my rings are just slipping off. So I'm gonna gain a little bit of weight back and then put on my rings again. Now, how did I do today? What did I do? What was the idea and what happened? So today started largely with juice. So we started with celery juice, and from there we went to watermelon, watermelon juice. And after that I had some pears, then I had grapes, then I had peaches, then I had some apples, then I had more watermelon juice, and then I just kept eating fruit all day long. I had so much fruit today, it's not even funny. I probably had like 2,500 to 3,000 calories worth of fruit. Like probably 3 to 4 pounds of fruit, man. Like it was nuts. But that's good. Here pretty soon, I'm gonna make myself some tea. I'm gonna lay down, get ready for bed. I'm gonna have red clover tea, calendula, and self-heal in the tea. And that will be the day. And I'll probably do a castor oil pack as well over my liver. It's on this side, but anyhow, I'll probably do that, and then that'll be today. And so yeah, that was the cleanse day one. Anyhow, so why are we doing all this, or why am I doing all this? What's the purpose? What's going on? So we all want to be healthy, right? Everyone wants to just not be sick, right? We don't want to be dying. We want to live a long life. We want to live a long, healthy life, because you don't just want to live a long life. Because if you live a long life, but it's not a long, healthy life, then the last half of it's really unfortunate and not fun, and you're limping around everywhere, and you're sick, and you're going to doctor's appointments, and you're spending all your money on doctor's appointments, and yada, yada, yada. It's not fun for anybody. So instead, what we do is we go all the way back to where you are right now. And instead of focusing on health 10 years from now, you focus on just maintaining health. Or if you're in a position like myself where something happened, where your health went down, or you're not where you want to be, you focus on getting back to that point of like ideal health, right? I know it's really hard to do in today's society, but we're working on it. We're doing it step by step. We're going through the trials and errors, right? Different foods, macros, micros, herbs, spices, whatever it is, fasting, whatever it is that you need to do to get back on track. You just kind of got to figure it out. In a way, you have to be your own doctor, right? The medical system is not going to tell you exactly what to do to heal yourself without the prescriptions and the surgeries and all that other stuff. So you kind of just got to figure it out for yourself. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So none of this is stuff that I was prescribed to do, right? Instead, it was stuff that I researched. I just kind of deep dove into each of the different topics to figure it out. I watched a lot of different videos. ChatGPT is a wonderful tool for doing like deep dive research and things like that. So if you don't use it much, or if you just use it like basic Q&A, I recommend a deeper dive into ChatGPT, because it really can give you some interesting points and things like that to look through, and it can give you the sources for you to do your own research. But no, not all of the things that I put on here are ChatGPT. Most of the stuff, 99.9% of the stuff I'm going to be doing is all unscripted. Hey, the cats are bullies. Hold on, let me throw Sebastian in. Oh, there you go. Sebastian likes to bully Charlotte. Doesn't work. Can't have that. But yeah, so today was pretty good. I would say that if you want to get started in cleansing your body, one of your best things is going to actually be taking basically accountability and figuring out what kind of stuff are you eating on a day-to-day basis. What's the bad stuff that you're eating? and where can we get better with that, right? So it starts off with basic inputs. If you're having like the seed oils and things like that, you can shift a seed oil for a good olive oil or butter, avocado oil, especially if you're cooking. If you're eating fast food, let's focus on healthy meal preps, things like that. There's lots of different things you can do, but it's more of just getting the bad stuff out initially. And then once you've done a pretty good job about getting the bad stuff out, right? And you can go some time, then you can focus on something more along the lines of doing a cleanse or a fast or a juice fast. I don't recommend just hopping into it, having never done any either intermittent fasting or anything like that before. Reason being, it's not for the faint of heart. With that being said, anybody can do it as long as you have the health basically to be able to handle yourself. Like if you're type 1 diabetic, there's going to be a bunch of different things. So check, your situation infinitely better than I do. So check that before you start jumping into fasts or cleanses or anything like that. But if you're like me and you're in pretty decent health, you just have a few little things you want to fix. Like I want to cleanse my lymph system, get the drain basically going again. My liver, kidneys, detox. Like I had really bad eczema for a while and I wanted to get rid of that. So now I've gotten rid of my eczema. I was able to do that through diet and fasting. Now I'm working on my lymph, and it's looking like I'll have to do that through exercises, herbs, diet, and fasting. So it's a little bit more complex to get through the deeper levels of things. Like for instance, the eczema was caused by essentially a lack of my body's ability to detox the inputs I was taking, in my case, which was pork and egg yolk. So I had to remove pork and egg yolk, but I can still have egg whites. So that's really, really interesting. So everybody's different, right? Like not everyone responds to egg yolks the way that I do. And so, yeah, one of the interesting things is I actually just started following about a year and a half ago the Leviticus section of the dietary stuff in the Bible. And that's actually helped a lot with my eczema and detoxing and heavy metals and a lot of other things. So yeah, it's just kind of a cool thing that if you do follow that, it's an easy guideline. But the problem now is that even in following that, in today's society, there's so many chemicals and things in the food, the water, all that other stuff, that it's not even enough anymore to actually be able to have a clean, like, slate health-wise. So you really have to be particular. And that's one of the reasons why we started growing our own stuff, why we started growing food forests, why we started doing the garden in the backyard, why we want to get chickens, right? It's that same reason, is if we really want to have high quality inputs for our health and for our bodies to be able to live a long time, live long, healthy, happy lives, not spend a fortune doing it, we have to grow it ourselves. And so that's kind of the idea, is if you want to get started on health, you got to fix the basic stuff, where if you're eating too much sugar, you know what you're doing, right? If you're eating too much processed chips and things like that, too much sugars, too many fast food burgers, too much bacon, too many fries, whatever your specific issue is, it's up to you to take that accountability. I can't take the accountability for you, right? My issue for the longest time was bacon, right? I loved bacon. I'd have like every single day, probably for like a year and a half, 2 years straight. I had bacon, like several pieces a day. And that eventually led to my entire system getting clogged up. I ate fast food every single day. Like I was just making all the wrong decisions for several years. This is when I was like 18, 19, 20. And so it was quite a long time ago, but I'm actually still paying the bill for those mistakes that I made at that time. And so just know that it's not gonna necessarily kill you today, but it will definitely not help you in 5 to 10 years if you're not making the right decisions now. And that does go for anything in your life, right? It goes for health, it goes for finances, it goes for fitness, it goes for family, relationships, everything. If you don't make good decisions today, you will end up paying for that down the road some way, somehow. Um, and so, yeah, with that being said, with the cleanse and everything like that, your first step is going to be cutting out the bad stuff. The second step is going to be improving it with good stuff, right? Just because you can't afford organic foods or all of these other things right now, that's not that big of a deal if you're trying to lose weight, right? If you're trying to lose weight, the primary thing is going to be taking out the processed stuff like chips, candies, sodas. Soda is a huge one. If you are still drinking soda and you're overweight, you don't want to be overweight. If you don't care, it's not a big deal to you, drink your soda, right? And eventually you can drink soda if you'd like to, right? If you can fit it into your macros. It's not ideal by any means, but if that's what you want to spend your extra calories on, then so be it. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm just telling you how I do it and what can be done. But that's an easy one to clear, is get rid of sodas and candies, things like that. That's going to save you a lot in terms of caloric intake, as well as like processed chips and things. The other thing is going to be walking or working out. Like if you can start working out and start walking, a lot of the calories, as long as you're getting enough protein, and that's going to be another big one, a lot of the calories that you do get, that you do intake, as long as you're getting enough protein and as long as you're getting the muscle protein synthesis from working out. And I know right now, right, like I'm like scrawny, so it's coming from me. It's like, oh, that's funny. But I just finished the 14-day fast literally last night, and I'm literally 46 pounds down right now from like my peak bulk. And so the next, you'll see here pretty soon, like the refeed bulk on this gonna go crazy. I've been pretty big before. I've been working out for over a decade, and so this fast was tough because I knew going in that I was gonna lose a lot of gains. But with that being said, it's not permanent, and it's so that I can build back on a strong foundation. Because I've had a hernia and gut issues and throat issues and lymph issues and all these things that have been making it so much harder for me to build muscle and then maintain it. And when I do have it, I'm uncomfortable because it's like my throat or my stomach. So it's like, okay, how can I reset this to where it actually works for me, right? And so rather than focusing just on fitness, how can we actually have health and fitness? And that's kind of the idea, is bringing those together. And then one of the biggest misconceptions when you look at these fitness influencers is that they're healthy. You would think that they're healthy. The problem is most of them are having artificial sweeteners, processed oils, things like that. They're having a lot of these negative foods, and because of the foods that they are eating, a very good portion of them, they're not getting in micronutrients. And so that's one of the things I found whenever I was big into the health fitness thing was, or the fitness space, I suppose you would, is that a lot of these guys, they're getting their macros dialed in proper. Like they are getting it perfect. But what they're not doing is they're not focusing on micros one bit. And micros is actually what makes the body run in a way. Like it's kind of the oil of the machine, right? Like gasoline is your macros, but your micros are the oil. And as any mechanic or anybody who's ever driven a car would tell you, if you don't change your oil, bad things happen. Well, that's why a lot of these bodybuilders, aside from excessive use of steroids and PEDs and things like that, keel over in their 40s, 50s, 60s, sometimes 20s and 30s. It's because of the heart issues and things like that from PEDs, and then because their body doesn't have the micronutrients required to actually function, to detox, to do all of those other things. Because for instance, the liver has over 500 different functions, and to do these functions it requires micronutrients. Most people are malnourished, if you will. We're going through a stage that I like to call nutrient famine, where we live in a world of abundance, a world of plenty, but at the same time we live in a world of nutrient famine where there are no nutrients anywhere in the grocery stores. Half of the vegetables that are in the grocery stores that are monocultured or just growing in all kinds of different ways, they don't have the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that they would have had even 40 years ago or 60 years ago, or definitely not 100 years ago when everyone's growing their own stuff, right? So it's not the same thing that was on your grandmother's shelf or in your grandmother's garden. So with that being said, all of these things play a factor into the cleanse, right? And so if you want to cleanse the body, it starts with not taking the bad stuff. Then it starts with adding in like the good stuff, which is going to be like the micronutrients and things like that. And then it's going to be giving yourself the time and energy and space to heal, as well as fitness to be able to move, to be able to increase your caloric, how many calories you're burning essentially. And once you can do those things and kind of get a roll on it, your body will take care of itself. You just have to get into the natural flow. And if you can get into the natural flow of your body, your health, everything like that, right? You're much less likely to suffer from chronic diseases, from gut issues, from skin issues. You just have to let your body kind of even out, right? And in order to do that, you've just got to take accountability for yourself. You know, every single time when you drink a soda or eat some candy or eat some chips or have a fast food burger, you know, in the back of your head at least, subconsciously, that what you're doing is debiting your health balance, right? So you're taking a debit, you're swiping it, and that number is not infinite, it's a finite number. So what happened to me was when I was 18 and I had what I thought was $1 million of health, like I could do whatever I wanted, I could eat McDonald's and Taco Bell and bacon and burgers and whatever I wanted every single night. I was just going ching 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 and just swiping the card of my health, while at the same time working out every day. And so I thought, man, I'm just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and things are going great. And then all of a sudden I hit 20, and then I started to hit this weird point where I was no longer in the green. Now my oil, if you will, was in the yellow, but I didn't know what to do about it. So I just kind of slowed it down a little bit, but kept doing a lot of the things that were bad for me. I tried to do all these different diets and things, but I didn't do the things that I now know would have helped at the time. It took me 6 years to figure out what would have actually helped. So just to put it into perspective, it's not like a quick journey if you don't know where you're starting from. And so that's kind of what got me to this point here. That's why we started the microgreens farm, is for the micronutrients. That's why we're starting the fruit forest, is for both micronutrients and macronutrients, healthy sugars, things like that, so that we can have fruit without having to spend a ton of money on fruit. That's why we're doing vegetable rows in the fruit forest. We're doing a vegetable garden behind us. We're doing all kinds of different stuff because it all plays together. Everything is connected, and it's all very, very important to at least have a basic understanding of it, because once you have the basics understood, it's a lot easier to actually be able to maintain health, rather than trying to come back from it in 30 years where you're already in your 50s, 60s, 70s trying to heal something that's broken. Because at the end of the day, if you could stop the thing from breaking before you broke it, it'd be a lot easier to fix it, right? If you have a car that you get into a wreck and now your car's wrecked, how much harder is it to fix if you could have missed the wreck? Like, if you didn't wreck your car, it'd be infinitely easier to fix it, because now it just needs an oil change versus a whole new front end or a whole new back end, or you need new doors, or you got to have surgery on every joint in your body, or your car's got to have everything replaced. Like, eventually it gets totaled out, but that doesn't work. If your car gets totaled out and this thing here isn't working anymore, you're sitting there in a hospital bed, and we don't want that. So we've got to start focusing on it today, and get that going, because otherwise you're gonna have to pay the price eventually. And right now, if you're just debiting your body account, it's gonna go down, and it's not beneficial for anybody. So follow along. We're gonna do more. I am Zach Harshey, and we're gonna do much more. We're gonna go into more detail of different aspects of health, different aspects of cleansing, fasting, diet, fitness, food forestry, microgreens, business if you want, whatever you guys want. Got all kinds of different things that we do, that I do. And so yeah, I will see you very soon, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.